rocking it. Tonight on Thursday Night Geeks, we just got back from the deserts of Nevada after a spectacular week at STLV. We're going to break down all the excitement, big news, and amazing cosplay as the 59-year mission was non-stop Star Trek fun for 5 glorious days. Then we welcome an entertainment legend back to Trek Geeks as the Nacelle Company founder and CEO Brian Volk-Weiss joins us for an amazing conversation on their new line of Star Trek action figures. Why do a line of figures now? What crazy ideas have they come up with? And what special secrets for future releases will Brian share with us? Let's find out right now on Thursday Night Geeks.
From the Podfleet Command Travel Office, it's the biggest little show this side of the Alpha Quadrant and the best damn live stream on the internet tonight. Greetings, everybody. Welcome to Trek Geeks and Thursday Night Geeks. Bill Smith alongside the best all-time Elvis tribute artist in the world, Dan Davidson, fresh on the heels of our trip to Las Vegas. Dan, great to be back, buddy. We had a little bit of a preemption a couple of weeks ago with some weather here in North Carolina, but we're back, baby.
Well, thank you very much. It's
Thank
good
you.
to be here. Yes,
Thank
it's
you very
great
much.
to be back, man. Yeah, weather is a thing in North Carolina. We actually had thunderstorms last night, and we had like 7 or 8 inches of flooding on the main streets in Merrimack. It was crazy, but we're back after spending a fantastic last week in Vegas. Always good to be sitting down in the chair to do some Thursday Night Geeks with my pal. There you go. I'll let you know when you get. I'll let him know when he gets here.
You prick. But let's say hello to some folks. Good evening, Ross. Great to see you. Robert Reyes in the house for Thursday Night Geeks. Robert, welcome. Of course, Willow is here. Willow, who took such great care of us in Las Vegas.
Always does. Yep.
Our goodie bags, which kept us going all week long with things like, gum and mints and perhaps a little bit of alcohol here and there. Allegedly. You can't prove that. Burley's in the house. And of course, Brad is here. Great to have everybody here tonight. If you're watching us live, thank you so much. And if you're watching us on demand, let's come on board on Thursday. Let's do it, y'all.
Yeah, live.
We're happy to have you here either way. As you mentioned, Dan, we just got back on. You got back Sunday night or Monday morning. I got back Monday evening. Yep. And what a hell of a trip, buddy.
Oh my gosh, it was just absolutely fantastic. No two ways to put it. It was one of the best trips we've had. So much fun. Great to reunite with the Star Trek family. Great to be in the vendors room all week, having a great time with our buddies at Fansets. It was just awesome all around.
So, Vegas usually involves some things. For us, it involves maybe a couple of shows. Always some great food at some amazing restaurants. But also it involves a little bit of imbibing potent potables, as they would say on Jeopardy. So I ask you, Dan, what are you drinking? I'm going to go first.
Yeah, you go first. I was going to say, what are you drinking, mister?
Well, let me tell you, I am drinking some of my favorite bourbon. It's from Freeland Spirits. It is an all-woman-owned distillery with a woman who serves as the master distiller. This is one of my favorites on the planet. And I toast you all for this Thursday night. What about you?
That sounds pretty good. Well, when we were in Vegas, I was getting a rash of shit from you and everybody else because I have never had an old fashioned before. And I'm not a bourbon fan because I really have not ever wanted to try. I have tried it, but I haven't liked it. So I think it was Saturday night. I pulled my pants up and decided to have an old fashioned, and I really enjoyed it. And then lo and behold, you were so happy that I enjoyed it that you ordered me a bottle of that bourbon that you just talked about, and it arrived today. So I made myself an old fashioned, my friend, and I got it right here. I
Nice.
got the orange peel. I got some cherries in there. I got my big Trek Geeks ice cube, and I'm digging it. It's really full too. I made like a double, and I probably shouldn't have done that.
That's awesome. So now have you found, something you dig as far as bourbon? You think that's the kind of thing you can?
It's very good. I didn't tell you, I smoked this a little bit before I brought it upstairs. So it's got a little smoke in it too. So a little pecan smoke. So yeah, pretty yummy.
Burley's glad you pulled your pants up. So
I'm
am
glad
I, quite frankly.
I might have them down again now. You just never know. So that's
Willow,
what's great about live stream.
Willow introduced us last trip to gin and seltzer. That treated us very well last year.
Mhm.
Brad says, welcome to the dark side. Also, so does Ross. We do have lots of old fashions here.
Yes.
I'm glad you love it. Freeland, they are not a sponsor. Let's get that straight right now.
Yeah.
But they do make a wonderful bourbon. If you haven't checked them out, Freeland Spirits, a wonderful, wonderful company. And they're based in,
Let's say Oregon, did you say?
Oregon. That's right.
Yeah. Okay.
Oregon. And I get confused between two of the ones I like, and just so eminently drinkable if you haven't tried it. So,
it's funny.
cheers.
I mixed this, and I'm like, first one I've ever done, first time I've ever mixed it, and I'm going to do experimentation because I always like to play with flavors and stuff. So, but when I was done this and I smoked it, I handed it to my wife first. She's like the poison. She's like the poison taster, and she took a sip and she's like, "That's really good." So I'm like, "Good, yeah."
Well, buddy, I'm glad you love it. I wish you good health in drinking that bottle of Freeland.
Thanks, buddy.
Or, memories are blacked out. Either way, I'm happy with it.
That could happen too. That's all right.
Tonight we're going to talk a little bit of Vegas, but we also have an important conversation coming up with somebody we had to preempt from before due to his shooting schedule. So what do we have coming up, Dan?
I'll tell you what, we've been looking forward to this for a while. It was several months ago that the Nacelle Company announced that they were going to be coming out with a line of Star Trek action figures, which we were both very excited about. We had lined up to talk to the CEO of the Nacelle Company, Brian Volk-Weiss. We've had him on Trek Geeks before to talk about the toys that made us, and we also talked about Center Seat and all that those great shows that he has done. He's just a legend in the entertainment business. But we had to postpone it a couple times, and it actually turned out great because we got to talk to him right after Vegas. He was in Vegas for a panel, had some great announcements, had some great discussion. He stopped by our booth. And we get to say hi to him a little bit up front before our interview. So I'm very excited that we're going to be able to do this now. And he's going to give us some awesome information about this line of action figures that is coming out very soon.
Yeah, absolutely. And the information is coming fast and furious. And that's really the thing that surprises me. We never got announcements like this from Playmates or Exo6 or any of the other companies that have done action figures, like this little Bendy Gorn I have here, right?
Bendy Gorn.
Bendy Gorn. I don't know what else to call him, but it's I love how transparent they're being and how they are getting us excited. We're going to talk about that in just a bit. Our conversation with Brian is actually pre-recorded. We had to record with him the other night to adjust his schedule, but Dan and I will be live in the chat while the interview is playing so that we can comment on it all with you. That's coming up in just a bit. But first, Dan, we are going to do a little business with America. And after the jump, we're going to talk about our friends at Fansets.
Beautiful.
So stay tuned. We will be right back. Dan, we had the best time with Lou and John and Joe and Amity and Laureen, the entire Fansets gang. Of course, Matt from Section 31 Supply, friends like Corey who drop in. This week fuels my soul, and we could not be more proud to have Fansets as the presenting sponsor for both Trek Geeks and Thursday Night Geeks, Dan.
Absolutely. If we didn't have them, we wouldn't be doing this because they are just one of the foundations of what has become Trek Geeks and Thursday Night Geeks. A fantastic week in the vendor's room with our best friends from Fansets. And man, dude, Bill, as you know, they had a lot of new pins available over there at STLV last week.
Yes.
And the best part, they've released a whole bunch of those pins that were first seen in Vegas last week, and you can go to fansets.com right now and get them all, like this one from Strange New Worlds. It's Christine Chapel, always looking good there, followed by the latest in the dedication plaque series. It's Captain Harriman's own Enterprise B. It's kind of funny, I thought that pin would be released on Tuesday, but I digress. That's all right. Up next, we have the amazing show pin celebrating Voyager from the Universe of Trek collection. It's Captain Proton. Absolutely gorgeous. And these final two of this initial release of Vegas pins to the website are really something, man. From Discovery, it's the 32nd Century Delta, which of course comes in pin and magnet form. It's absolutely beautiful. There are actually 3 distinct pieces to the front of that Delta. As you can see, the magnet behind your jersey, it'll all stick on there just perfectly. And if you get in the pin version, there's a lot of pin backings on the back of that. Just keep that up. Keep that in mind. It's just absolutely gorgeous. You're absolutely going to love it. But I got to tell you, man, the big one, the top billing for STLV, and probably the most anticipated pin that Fansets has ever produced. It's available right now at fansets.com. It's the EMH hollow emitter from Star Trek Voyager. It's available in pin and magnet form. This pin is incredible. It's extra strong because Fansets knows it's going to be worn on your sleeve. They didn't want it moving around or falling off. So those magnets are very, very strong. The quality of this pin, like all of their pins, is second to none. And they were flying off the proverbial shelf at STLV. So make sure you go to fansets.com and get yours right now.
You know, every time we turned around, somebody was getting one of those EMH emitters, and you were not kidding about those magnets. It's the heaviest pin I think Fansets makes.
Yep.
And those magnets keep that pin right on there. That it goes nowhere. That's firsthand testimony right here.
It really doesn't. And the other thing that they did, which is so great, is the magnet is actually, the backing is actually embedded into the back of the pin a little bit. So it sits in there. So you got to have a good fingernail to get that magnet out because it is a strong magnet. You will not lose this on your cosplay outfit. Or if you're just wearing it around the house because you want to pretend you're the doctor. Whatever floats your boat. That's all I'm saying.
There's a quick comment here that Helen made. Did anyone ever identify someone wearing the warrant officer badge from Future Imperfect? No, they did not.
No.
I don't know that it exists, but of course, Fansets is committed to making the whole line. I think they've got 30 more Future Imperfect badges coming out
Just tomorrow.
And that could be, well, yeah, the 15th. You're right. It is. It is coming out. So,
yep. And also, Bill, just to let everybody know, this year, Fansets had the most pins at Vegas as new releases that I have ever seen. I want to say they had like 30. I mean, it was just incredible. So they're all the ones that are still available. They're going to be released on the website over the next couple of weeks, I'm sure. So everybody keep your eyes on fansets.com because you want to get these because they really outdid themselves this year. And they're pretty fantastic. Fansets-tastic.
Whoa. It's not often you drop that these days. And that's because I want to kill you whenever you do it. Those are all incredible pins. To see all of the things they put out there this weekend, you know, even they helped us with our line of pins that we sold in Vegas, one of which was bought by Mr. Brian Volk-Weiss, by the way, who stopped by our table and was like, hey, I'm talking to you guys on Tuesday. But we want you to get all those pins and any others they release and put them in your cart on fansets.com. And then at checkout, be sure to use the special discount code word Trek Geeks for 10% off your entire order. That's Trek Geeks in all capital letters, no spaces. You're going to get that 10%. And of course, Dan, keep in mind, when you spend more than $30 on fansets.com, you're going to get what?
A puppy?
No.
Free shipping.
Free shipping on fansets.com in the US. So get out there, get those pins, yo.
Okay.
No.
Fansets. Our pins have character, and we thank our friends at Fansets for being the presenting sponsor of Thursday Night Geeks.
Speaking of the Trek Geek shop, as we just saw that little bumper there, this was our first year actually selling merch in the vendor hall. So we had a line of 3 t-shirts and 4 pins.
Yep.
And I am stunned at the reception that they all got. People loved what we were bringing to the table, no pun intended. And it was an amazing experience. I'm looking forward to doing it next year to bring new designs to sort of get those creative juices flowing. But those shirts that we had in Vegas are slowly making their way to the Trek Geek shop online at trekgeekshop.com. So don't forget to check that out routinely. You could see shirts like this Boldly Go Retro shirt, which we had on sale in Vegas.
And I'll tell you what, that was the big seller of the week. That one we sold out of. That was the one that we sold out of. Absolutely great quality. And I'm going to give you all the props in the world, man, as long as I can. Congrats to you, because you were the person who designed those shirts. You came up with the designs. They looked spectacular. And I was stunned at the reception that we got for selling our merchandise. I'm looking forward to doing it again next year. Not so much just because we're selling merchandise and everybody always likes to make money. It means a lot that people care about the product that we're putting out for them to buy. That really is something. And I'm looking forward to doing it again. I'm actually going to help you with designs next year, I think. I'm going to put that on my calendar. Yeah, I got 1 or 2 ideas. That's true.
I like it. Next year, of course, the 60th anniversary of Star Trek. It's hard to believe that your first convention, your first STLV, was 10 years ago this week.
It was.
What are the most obvious changes to you between your first one 10 years ago and your most recent one this past week?
I would say because we are now in the vendor's room, we don't really get to, and this is not a criticism, this isn't a bad thing. We don't really get to go out and do stuff during the convention itself. The last time I was actually in the main auditorium was when Sir Patrick Stewart came out to announce Picard, which was 6 years ago, at least. So it's unfortunate. I did have to go and pick up something the other day. And when I did that, I went through the main auditorium to get out the back. And it was when Scott Bakula was talking. So that was great. I got to listen to a little bit of him. But I'd say that's the biggest change. It's before it was like, oh, let's go out, do these things. I'm going to do photos. I'm going to do autographs. I'm going to go in the main hall and listen to people. I haven't done that in how long? I didn't get a single picture or photo op or autograph this past trip. Just nothing at all.
Wow.
Working at the vendor's table, talking to our listeners, talking to our friends, hugging a lot of people, and looking at some effing amazing cosplay.
There was a lot of it. I'm not going to lie. We really enjoyed seeing everybody's takes on stuff, from the homemade to even just store-bought stuff.
Yeah.
It was fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
There was a lot of creativity there. You sent me a bunch of pictures over there. There was a guy who was the broken little ships from Star Trek First Contact.
Yep.
And he had them all over his black clothes. It was just so creative.
And had shards of glass coming out of his outfit. It was just, I saw him and I'm like, dude. And I made him run over to come to our booth so I could take a picture with him.
Yeah. It was a week. Well, I remember how I used to say that week just sort of, refueled me and my fandom every year and, kind of got me going to do this for another 12 months. That's exactly how I felt at the end of this. Yeah. This was the first year in a long time I didn't have that sort of post-con blues.
Mm-hmm.
I am still riding the high of that con, even though I've been home since Monday, because it did everything I hoped it would. I saw people I only get to see once a year. I got to see dear friends that I talk to online all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I got to, have some great experiences and do some new things. I got to have bronchitis and go to urgent care.
That was the best 3 hours at the vendor's table the entire week.
So let me set a stage for you. It's Saturday. All week I've been getting like 2 or 3 hours of sleep just because I can't sleep.
Right.
I feel like I'm going to cough. I'm really susceptible to bronchitis in those super smoky atmospheres. And this year the Rio was just kind of smoky when I showed up.
Yeah.
And that was all it took. It just kept snowballing. And I got to the point on Saturday. It's like, look, I have to go to an urgent care because otherwise I'm going to be on a plane on Monday and people are going to think I'm patient 0 bringing a new strain of COVID to their town. So I went and they gave me some steroids and some cough medicine. And they said, so do you have a local pharmacy? I'm like, dude, I'm a tourist. Okay. They said, well, no problem. There's a CVS right across the parking lot. Well, let me set the stage. It's 111 degrees. And the sun is, it's like 1 o'clock in the afternoon, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm fixing to walk to this CVS across a parking lot and across a street and across another parking lot. Well, that was horrible. If you have bronchitis, walking in that weather is the worst shit imaginable. So I did it, and then as soon as I walked through the door, the pharmacist just closed the slider because
Oh,
it was lunchtime. So I had to sit under an air conditioning vent, luckily, and
yeah,
wait for him to come
that's
out.
good. Yeah. So 111 degrees, but the real feel I think was like 120, 121. I think that day. So yeah,
Easily. It doesn't matter if it's dry or not, Robert. 111 is still an oven inside. Now, keep in mind, I had just come from North Carolina where the feels like had been, 110 with
Yeah.
90% humidity.
right.
So
Much
it
different.
was a little bit, like a vacation in a sense, but
Mhm.
it still sucked. It still sucked.
It was still, even with all that heat, it was still fantastic. Like we talked about the cosplay. I got to give a huge shout out to our dear friend meteorologist Katie. She had probably what I thought was the best cosplay of the entire trip, and you might have seen it on the opening. She did a Captain Proton, and her entire cosplay was in monochrome. And it was absolutely spectacular. I could give her all the credit in the world. She does great cosplays, as do so many people that were there. It was great to see. We had some great food. Of course, we went to Ramsey like we do every year, and that was fantastic. But this year we tried a new place, which I thought was really good, and that was Scotch 80 over at the Palms. We had a fantastic dinner. You and I had dinner with John Billingsley and his beautiful wife, Bonnie. Had a great night. Fantastic food, good company, and it was just great all around. Everything was great about this vacation.
On Sunday night, you had already left, and I had dinner with Matt McGonigal and Chris Mumphrey,
Mhm.
and we went to Sinatra over at Encore,
Yep.
which is probably some of the best Italian food I have ever had in my life.
Mm.
Oh my word!
Okay.
You're going there next year, and
All
you're
right.
gonna love it.
Put it on the calendar.
I've pulled up some of those photos that you wanted to share.
Okay. Cool.
So let me share my screen real quick.
While you're sharing the screen right now, we got a big hello out to Crusher Convo Podcast. There she is. She's here with us. We won a prize with her at STLV this weekend. It was pretty awesome.
I want a
friend.
prize. You didn't do shit.
You did. I got half a point with one, but you got the full point. You pulled something out of your ass that I didn't think you would ever do, and congratulations, because that was pretty awesome.
Thanks to Crusher 22 Beta Charlie, I have a Beverly Crusher action figure that
Yes, you do.
I need to put on the stage behind me. I haven't finished unpacking yet because I've been taking my sweet ass time because
That's good.
Vegas. So Dan, here we're looking at some shots. You took a lot of them in the booth while I was at Urgent Care, apparently. I looked at these
Yes.
photos. I'm like, where was I?
I had fun with my Picard Admiral uniform on, as I always do on the Saturday. Yep.
You had a little piece of the action going on. You were met by Wolverine and Deadpool, which I thought was pretty good.
You can't see it in that picture, but at the bottom of his tunic, you know how that green tunic kind of wraps around?
Yeah.
Instead of the Starfleet logo, he had one of our Trek Geeks Deltas there.
Oh, nice.
Which was pretty amazing. I got a picture of that somewhere. I don't think I posted it, though.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
And of course, there's meteorologist Katie Nicolau,
Yep.
one of our favorites, doing her monochrome cosplay.
Amazing.
Of Captain Proton. Her costume
beautiful.
was fantastic. I loved it.
It really was. Yeah.
That's you and me.
Hey, we don't get to do that very often. Of all the years we go, we barely ever take pictures with each other. So I'm glad we got this one this year.
And one of the Riker shirts from the Trek Geek store, which, by the way,
Absolutely.
looks really good in red.
It does.
It's in seeing, in first person, you never know how it looks, right? But it's obvious to me that I've lost weight on my Zep-bound treatments.
Absolutely,
Looking at this
you have,
photo,
yep.
I'm
Yep.
down close to 40 pounds, making progress. But
Congrats,
I
man.
actually kind of like the way this picture looks. I might get
Yep.
this one. Might get this one framed.
Fantastic, man. I love it. Look great.
This was my favorite cosplay. This episode had just come out
Didn't take long.
that week.
Yep.
The Star Trek Strange New Worlds episode with the holodeck.
Yep.
And man, these two killed it. He had the Gene Roddenberry vibe going on. She has the Lon vibe going on. This this made me laugh and smile every time I saw it.
Yeah. And his drink doesn't actually move. It's a great prop.
Mine does.
Absolutely. Yeah, that was a really
Drinky.
good one. I love that one a lot. And yeah, that's beautiful too.
I always love, is there in truth no beauty, or is there in
Yep.
beauty no truth? I never can get that
One or
title
the other.
straight. Helen's going to
It's-
correct us in about 2 seconds, and I welcome it.
That's okay.
But I always love the this cosplay at Ticonderoga. They have a great one of these ambassadors.
You can't see it in the picture, but the Medusan box, it's got all kinds of strobe lights in different colors. So it's like flashing and all kinds, just like in the episode. That they were incredible. That was an amazing cosplay. That was out in the hall for quite a while.
Dan, I want to point out that somebody's here.
Oh my goodness gracious. They said they were not going to be here. Look
Jay
at that.
and Kaylia are in the house after giving
That
us
is
nothing but
awesome.
crap all week long. Yeah. And Crusher Convo. Hi, Jesse brings up a great point. Shout out to Rachel, who had the Amelia Moon cosplay when we reviewed the episode on Tex Trek that day.
Oh,
And
cool.
Christina Chong gave her a shout out on her Insta.
Oh, that's
That is
fantastic.
fantastic. I'm so glad that Christina saw it and had a great reaction to it.
Nice.
Here's a great Borg cosplay. This is Eric Allen Hall,
Eric,
who always
God.
brings his A game.
Yep, he does.
He's been doing this Borg costume for years. He's got a vocal synthesizer that's part of it, and it's phenomenal. Dan, I was correct.
Is there Truth or Beauty?
Helen being our sort of our on stage, corrections.
Love it.
Official. Is there in truth no beauty? I always screwed up, and that's why I'm screwing up, because I'm thinking of Prodigy too.
That's true.
But thank you so much, Helen. I really appreciate you being our ombuds person.
So that cosplay with Eric was taken on Saturday. On Sunday, he was doing his Data cosplays, and we saw him at least 4 times. And each time we saw him on Sunday, he had a different Data cosplay. The guy is absolutely amazing what he does, and they're all phenomenal.
Well, and one of them was Lore too, in the Pac-Led uniform.
Yep, they had Pac-Led Lore. He had First Contact Data with they had the episode where he loses his head, but he was wearing his First
Time
Contact
Zero
outfit. Yep, had the Western
Fistful of Data's
Data, and then there was one other one that he had that holding the cane. He had the cane from the 2-parter with I'm
also Time Zero.
Thank you very much. Yeah, it's just incredible.
It's amazing, because if we were playing Stump the Geek now, I think I'd wipe the floor with you. I think that old fashioned's going to your head.
I was going to say it's because of the old fashioned, so I got to make sure I don't drink one when we do the next one. Oh,
there's
there it
Wolverine's Trek Geeks Delta. That's fantastic. I think we got maybe 1 more. No, 2 more. That Jem'Hadar costume,
awesome,
fan-friggin-tastic.
That was on Thursday. Yep,
that was, and then Little Ship's Guy. This is why I love conventions.
Creativity,
the outright creativity, absolutely fantastic. So as we are sort of on the build up to STLV 60, throughout the year, we're going to be talking about ways to sort of make that trip affordable and bearable, because there's going to be a lot of people, right? And for some, I imagine it's going to be a pretty stressful event. We don't want you to be stressed. Okay.
No, not at all.
We want you to go. We want you to have a great time. There are ways to do Vegas that are expensive, and there are ways to do Vegas on the cheap, and you can have just as good a time. So throughout the year, we're going to be, if you have questions about Vegas, give us a holler, but we'll be doing some special, STLV 60 prep sessions if you were interested in going, because there is no better time to go to the Vegas convention, let me assure you.
Absolutely. It's going to be monumental, and I'm really looking forward to it already.
I think the panel that people were most excited for was the Scott Bakula one, which was not introduced till Monday. I mean, they announced it Monday because Cole Meany had to drop out. And the hubbub was palpable when we hit the ground.
Yeah,
we got there. Really people were already talking about Scott coming. They were already looking forward to his panel. I thought attendance was down overall, but I am pretty certain that room was packed for Scott Bakula, and it rightfully should have been.
When I walked through, it was absolutely packed. He's great to listen to. Very caring person. One person who had a question. His mom is struggling with a very aggressive form of cancer, but Scott Bakula is like her hero. So Scott's like, all right, get her on FaceTime. Brought the guy up on stage and had a FaceTime conversation with his mother. I mean, just absolutely amazing. He also announced that he will be at next year's convention, which is phenomenal. Hopefully his schedule will stay that way so we can be there. And the pictures, a couple of our friends have posted pictures that they got with him. What a huge smile. It looks like he genuinely cares about the fans, and he's just a freaking great human being. I'm so glad we get to talk to him at Trek Talks too. That was just a highlight.
You know, he is one of those people who is always, so great with fans of all types. He also talked about this idea that he's kicking around with Mike Sussman for a potential new Star Trek series. Now, nothing has been pitched or greenlit, but essentially it's Archer as president of the Federation. I think the working title is Star Trek United. I'm on board, especially if it means more Bakula in Star Trek, quite honestly.
Agreed. Oh, look at that.
Next year's dates for STLV 60 to celebrate the 60th anniversary of the original series, August 5 through 9, 2026. It is a 5-day convention once again. Of course, located at the Rio. It's our home. We used to say it's a shithole, but it's our shithole, but it's actually become quite a nice hotel, quite frankly.
Yeah, it has. It was good. It was a great week. I'm glad that we had such a great time, and I'm already looking forward to next year.
You and me both. So, one of the highlights of the week was getting a few minutes to talk to Brian Volk-Weiss during the convention, and then, of course, to talk to him the other night. And now's probably a good time to introduce that segment. We are going to run a little over tonight. Apologies to anybody else who has another stream to attend. But this conversation with Brian runs about 40 plus minutes, and we'll come back to wrap things up afterward.
Mm-hmm.
But before we dig into Brian, anything else that you want to add before we sort of roll that video, Dan?
No, it was, as I've said before, one of the best parts about the convention is reuniting with the people that unfortunately we only get to see once a year. It's really too bad. And I will say, especially our friends at Fansets, it's really too bad that we only get to see these people once a year. All of our Star Trek family, all of the wonderful people like Heather and Michelle and so many others. I could go on for 20 minutes on all the different names like Willow and all these wonderful people. So I look forward to it again next year. I'm hoping that we can figure out something to be able to go to some of these other conventions during the year because seeing those people is really what it's all about.
It really is. So Dan and I will be in chat as the video with Brian plays. We'll be interacting with you and commenting on the conversation as it goes by. But please enjoy this conversation with Brian Volk-Weiss from the Nacelle Company. We'll be back in just a minute, or 40 minutes, give or take.
40. So, folks, today we're honored to welcome back a true powerhouse in entertainment, a man whose creative vision has brought nostalgia, storytelling, and fan culture to life in ways no one else has. He's the founder and CEO of the Nacelle Company, the force behind hit series like The Toys That Made Us, The Movies That Made Us, and Icons Unearthed. Known for blending passion with business savvy, he's built a media empire that celebrates pop culture while telling stories that connect generations. And he's here tonight to talk about his amazing new line of very affordable Star Trek action figures, including waves 1 through 3. And maybe we can sneak a little bit of info about wave 4 out of him. So we're going to try. Please welcome back Brian Volk-Weiss. Brian, it's great to see you. Thanks for joining us here on Thursday Night Geeks. Congratulations on a successful convention last week with your panel at STLV. And it's great to see you, man.
Thank you for having me and for that great intro. I don't know if I could have written anything better myself.
That's the thing I like to do the most is the intros because I suck at everything else on the show, so I might as well do something good, right?
He's not lying.
By the way, I got to give you props. Wait, what'd you say? Sorry.
I said he's not lying. He does suck at everything else.
So shields up. I gotta salute your Mega Blocks Enterprise there. Very.
Oh yes.
That is mine has survived 3 moves somehow.
Oh wow. Mine has survived 1. I used to have it off camera, and I'm like, you know what? It's got to go on the table so everybody can see it.
No,
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
That thing is no joke.
It'll be interesting to see what the rumored next generation Enterprise D from Lego looks like if that comes out. Like we've heard stories, so we'll see.
I believe it's coming.
That's awesome.
Can you guys still hear me?
I can.
Okay, because I can't see shit. My browser flaked out, and I see a little preview window of me, and that's it. So, if at some point you lose me, just let me know.
We'll do, man.
All right, Brian. I want to start by having you put your CEO hat on for a minute before we geek out as a bunch of nerd boys. Obviously, this line of action figures is tremendous and incredible. But it seems like there's a lot of action figures on the market right now, or at least coming out. How is it that you hope that Nacelle will kind of differentiate and stand apart?
I'm going to give you a real honest answer. And, you know, I get in trouble for this kind of stuff sometimes. But to be completely honest with you, we're not trying to differentiate ourselves from anybody or anything. All I want to do is make the best toys possible. And if somebody's doing better than we are, we'll try and learn from them. But yeah, I don't really, I don't think, and this is just my opinion, I don't think the market or the community, I don't think they care about I don't think they care. I think they want a good product for a good price that makes them feel good when they put it on the shelf. And like for example, I'm a huge fan of G.I. Joe Classified. Yep. I've probably bought 80% of the figures. Every single vehicle they've ever made, I've owned if it's out. I don't buy or not buy G.I. Joe Classified based on what Marvel is doing, because I don't collect Marvel in a systematic way that I do G.I. Joe Classified. So as cheesy as this sounds, but I mean it, we're in a race against ourselves. And if we win or lose, that'll be determined by the fans.
I can appreciate that. Answer. Yeah, I mean, I'm dying to get my hands on these. I honestly can't wait. And Dan brought up a great point at the early, in the intro, and really affordability is the key. I feel like there's been a real lack of affordable collectibles for fans, and that's one of the reasons I'm most excited about this line.
Yeah, I'm glad you're both sitting down because, I'm sorry if you have to hear this from me, but, the economy ain't so hot.
Yeah.
And it's just price is important. By the way, people, it's 1%, but there are people who still say $28.99 is too much.
Wow.
I don't bring that up to make fun of those people. I bring that up to say, if there's people who are worried about $29, it proves the economy is in a really tough spot. So do I wish I could raise prices? Absolutely. But I want to have our figures in as many homes as possible without losing money. And if I want to do that, I got to be super efficient with the price. And reward the people that even pay that with lots of value, which is why we're so crazy with the accessories.
Oh, and the accessories are just awesome. I just love all the accessories. It's funny, you can probably see behind me, I have a couple of the Exo-6 figures up there. And that's one of the things that I love so much about what you're doing with all the different waves is that affordability. And the affordability, you're not sacrificing the detail and the to be honest, the awesomeness of what you have put into each one of these figures. Like you mentioned, the accessories. I think the accessories are such a huge, important part of action figure collecting. And I am so excited about all the different ones that you have coming out. But my question to you is, you talked a little bit about why, Bill asked why now and everything. What planted the seed? I mean, and I've seen all your videos at all the conventions. You're such an avid collector, and you can see the passion that you have whenever you find some of the things that are hard to find. What planted the seed for Star Trek action figures? Was it something that, because we all know how much of a Star Trek fan you are, as we are, did you like go around with different ideas of genres, or was it always just Star Trek you wanted to do?
It was the craziest thing in the world. The journey, to answer your question, starts with Toys That Made Us. So because of Toys That Made Us, we kind of got known within the toy community.
Yeah.
So that was the first thing. The second thing that happened was I had a meeting at Alcon, and 100% of the purpose of that meeting was to partner with them to make TV shows together, because we self-finance, they self-finance. So I went in and I met with them. So I'm in this conference room, and one of the guys in the meeting, on his wrist right here, or his, whatever you call that, his arm, that's the wrist. He had, I don't know if you're Expanse fans or not, but there's a spaceship that has some artwork on the side of it showing different prior versions of spaceships, starting with the Kitty Hawk. And he had a tattoo of that on his arm. So I just commented like, hey man, is that from the Expanse? He's like, yeah. So we got into this huge conversation about the Expanse. The prior week, we had announced we were making toys. So one of the other guys in the meeting, his name was Carl. Never saw him again, but I'll never forget his name. So this Carl guy goes, hey, aren't you doing toys now? Why don't you do the Expanse toys? So that's how we got the Expanse, which was very, very important because we had never done a license before. So about a year after that, this is where the story really starts to get crazy. I had a meeting at Playmates, and we're having this meeting at Playmates, had nothing to do with Star Trek, had to do with something else. And in the middle of the meeting, the guy casually mentioned they weren't doing Star Trek toys anymore. That was very surprising to me. So after we left the meeting, I turned to my colleague who runs consumer products for the company. And I said to him, I'm like, do you know anybody at Paramount? And he was like, well, I wouldn't be very good at my job if I didn't. So I'm like, can you reach out to them? So, and he goes, reach for what reason? And I go, we got to make Star Trek toys. So we got a meeting. And just so you know, the typical size of a presentation for a meeting like that is somewhere between 5 and 8, maybe 9 pages. We went in with a 43-page deck.
Wow.
So it is within reason, and I'll tell you why I said within reason and not exactly. It's what you're seeing. I pitched from literally the entire pitch was basically before we got to the 43 pages, but the entire pitch was basically, how do we live in a world that has Salamander Tom Paris, but we don't have Captain Garrett? We don't have Captain Jellicoe. And so the meeting obviously went okay. I was asked to meet with the guy's boss who I met with, and I'm pretty sure the purpose of that meeting was just to make sure I wasn't psychotic, which I fooled him because we passed. And then a week after that, we got an email, which I have framed in my office, saying we were approved to make the toys.
Wow.
And really, Wave 1 in particular is for the most part exactly what it would have been when we did the original presentation.
Wow.
That's incredible.
You know, that's really kind of amazing, because I can see you going in there loaded for bear, you know, with 43 pages or whatever it is. And I have to believe they were incredibly receptive and excited about the ideas as you presented them, because when we hear you talk about it, I mean, we get excited.
Yeah.
So were they a fairly warm room, or did it take some coaxing?
It's such an interest. No one's ever asked me that before. This is the really cool thing about working with Paramount. And I always worry when I say, because everybody always kind of craps on the rights holder, but my experience with Paramount has been absolutely wonderful, because they're experienced enough and talented enough to know that what I'm proposing, and I'll put it nicely, is really risky.
Mm-hmm.
But, and that's the nice way of putting it. The not
Right,
nice way of putting it would be to say what I'm proposing is batshit crazy. I mean, to sit there, I mean, I'm sure you know this based on your shirts and your walls, but in Wave 1, we have a character who was on screen for 81 seconds in a movie that's almost 40 years old, right?
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
So, Paramount has to approve this kind of stuff.
Right.
So the fact that they did is amazing. I'll tell you another thing like that. The fact that Wave 1 is still in China getting pumped out of molds, and we have already announced Wave 2, Wave 3, and Wave 4.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that is unprecedented in the history of the toy business, but I have never heard of that before. Again,
Yeah.
nicely, that's a risky strategy.
Yep.
Being real, that is a batshit crazy strategy. but it's all informed by what we're seeing on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
And what we're seeing on the ground is Playmates was the license holder before us, and you can still go to Target 2-3 years later and pick them up.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously doing Kirk and Spock and Data and Picard wasn't working. So that's why I think, as crazy as my 43 and by the way, we pitch characters way more obscure than Valkyrie. like one step above the little cloud Picard puts the smiley face as a figure. So that would have been on the 44th page. So their reaction, just to finally get to answering your question, sorry. So the way I would describe their reaction to the initial pitch, and kind of every step along the way, is that's crazy, but it's different. And now is the time to try something different. And I'm very lucky to be able to say this. I mean, I can tell you right here and right now, it's worked. The sales, I wish I could tell you what the sales are, but likely we have the best-selling Star Trek line in 25 years.
Awesome.
Nice.
And I know that from distributors, digital, online distributors have told me that. The people who see what all the other companies' sales numbers are.
Yep.
So it's working, and I feel I'm very happy about that, because the more it works, the longer I'll be able to do this. But I'm also very happy because there are these two executives at Paramount in particular who really kind of put their necks on the block. And I really wanted to deliver for them. And so far, so good.
That's awesome. I'm surprised you didn't go with a 47-page presentation, but that's neither here nor there. Were there people in the room that were, I don't know who that character is, I don't know who that is, but other people that were like, oh my God, that's incredible. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So you had a mix of both. Yeah.
Yeah. And well, not both. We didn't pitch anything traditional. I mean, like, for example, Generations Kirk was not in that deck. So I know we're not supposed to talk about Wave 4, but like Cisco was not in that deck. Janeway was not in that deck. I mean, again, I'm joking, but I'm barely joking when I tell you about the cloud with the smiley face. I mean, and by the way, I'll tell you this. I pitched something to them yesterday, And just so you know, at this point in the process, a pitch isn't like we go into this giant star chamber. I just sent a fucking text to one of our. And I pitched him again an absolutely ridiculous idea. It's ridiculous. He liked it. Now, I don't know if it's going to happen or not. I think it will, by the way, statistically speaking.
You're not gonna tell us, are you?
And by the way, just for all extent, to cover all the bases, you do have to pay in advance to get this privilege. So we wrote a huge check. So we did take a little risk ourselves, but I can tell what we're doing is working. And I read every comment. We've received over 7,000 emails. It could be closer to 8,000 by this point. Wow. We get at least 20 to 30 a day. I answer every single one personally. And I think the crazy idea I had yesterday, if it happens, I think it'll work. But if it doesn't, at the very least, it'll say to the community, we're going for the fences, people.
Yeah.
And
awesome.
and we care. We're trying to do stuff that we know you don't have on your shelf.
Mm-hmm.
And that's also going back to the other question. It's part of the reason why we keep the price point down, because asking somebody to buy a character, Valkyris probably can't charge $50 for that.
Sure. Now, are you a take them out of the box kind of guy, or are you a leave them in the box kind of guy?
If I leave it in the box, I buy 2.
Okay.
And I would say 1% or less of my collection, if it's not vintage, is in the box.
Yeah. Wow.
That's fair.
That's pretty cool.
I think one of the things that I really love about the line is the accessories. And I imagine that there's some hard decisions that have to be made there, because, obviously, I mean, Valkyris doesn't come with a boob cover-up window, for the costume error that's in Star Trek 3. Yeah, in Star Trek 3, there's a continuity error with Valkyris's costume. When you first see her on screen, her cleavage is covered with some kind of shield. And then when you see her again, when she emerges, it's not covered. You see her cleavage as it is in the rest of the scene. So
interesting. That's a lot, because I've seen a comment I saw, and this is months ago, but I did see a comment that basically said you're missing part of her costume. And I'll be very honest with you. I didn't know what that meant until right now. I never noticed that.
I'd share the image in my PowerPoint, but I'm afraid that I'm going to lose my computer at this point. But we'll send it to you after, so you can at least have the visual reference.
Please do.
How did you make the decisions on what each character was going to come with? I mean, I love that these accessories seem fully painted, and they will be in production, unlike the Playmates line of the early 90s. But you had to make some hard calls.
I don't really look at any of this as hard calls, because it's like, I don't know. If I'm being very honest with you, and I'm sure this doesn't happen anywhere else, and maybe it shouldn't happen here, but like, this is going to sound so artsy fartsy cheesy, but I swear to you, this is true. There's a Leonard Cohen lyric where he says, I am guided by a signal in the heavens. And that's the greatest way I can explain. Like, I'm not sitting there looking at Valkyris being like, oh, what should we do? What should we do? What should we do? Just somehow I knew she would be of wave 1. I knew she was the most obscure figure of the 8. And I'm like, what can we do to make it a real good value for anybody who buys her?
Nice.
And it was just A led to B, led to C. She's got the Genesis tape. All of Star Trek 3 happens because of her actions. Why wouldn't we include the entire Genesis?
Totally.
Yeah. And the other thing, if I'm being completely honest, And I mean, to a certain degree, why wouldn't I be? But still, it's a little crazy, but I'm just kind of making the shit I want. So
Nice.
I always wanted the Genesis device. And you could argue one day when we get to con, that's who it should have come with.
Mhm.
But why not do it in wave 1?
Yeah,
You know?
absolutely.
Yeah.
Did you get a chance to show it to her in Vegas?
Want to hear the craziest thing?
Yeah.
No. And she was the only person I was planning on doing that with. And she was within reason the only person I never saw. And then I don't know if you saw what happened at San Diego, completely randomly. Like so random you probably don't even believe it. We got to show George Takei his figure.
Mhm.
And we got to show, if you haven't seen that video, go
Yeah.
watch that. I mean, it's on my socials and Nacelle and all that stuff. And then exact same thing, but even less organized, happened with Sirach Lofton.
Yes, with the
Like,
reveal.
yeah. So like we're doing something else with him, so we know each other, and we were just texting, trying to meet up. So by the time we met up, it was like the end of the day, and I was like, "Hey, we got to shoot this thing after the doors are closed. Do you want to do it with us?" Like, and he was like, "Yeah, sure." So it's like so kind of random how it happens or doesn't happen.
That's awesome. What?
Here's the
What is-
here's
oh,
the
here we go.
shot. So this is the entrance of the scene with Valkyris in Star Trek 3, where she first comes up into frame,
Wow.
and then it cuts away, and then this is the next shot you see.
I'll be
And
honest
then it goes
with you.
back to the covered shot after that.
Yeah.
I wish I knew that. We would have included that. That's cool. That's a really cool little detail. I didn't know that. That's wild.
This is why we're here, man. We're just doing the nerds' work. That's
Yeah,
all.
very impressive. Very impressive.
Of the, I got a question for you, Brian. That is, of all of the ones that have been announced so far, because I don't want to pull any secrets out of your hat yet. What is you're talking about how, some of these are ones that are, deep cuts. And so what's the craziest one that you have come up with to do so far that has been announced?
I mean,
I like the Peter Preston with the burn face and the non-burn face. That's always a good one.
it's so funny you say that, because to me, even more, obviously, way more so than Garrett and Jellicoe, I have never, ever, ever understood why he wasn't made.
Yeah.
He's the only character from Wrath of Khan that hasn't been made. What's his name's been made? What's the name of the captain of the Grissom?
JT Esteban.
Esteban. Yep.
No, sorry. No, I'm so embarrassed. Not the Grissom, the Reliant.
Oh, Terrell.
Terrell.
Captain Terrell. Yeah. Yep.
Terrell has been made. Like, everybody was crying their eyes out when Preston died. Like,
Yeah.
he's got one of the most powerful deaths in all of Star Trek, and we got Salamander Tom Paris. So it's just like so weird. So to me, he was obvious. I would say the most obscure is either Valkyris or Bem.
Okay.
I mean, Bem is. I mean, I had real doubts if part of the reason I did Bem was because, and this might be in my own head, but I just think we got to stay honest. And if you look at everybody else, you could argue Carol Marcus counts, but in my opinion, she doesn't. You need someone in every wave that basically reminds the community, we're one of you.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that's what Valkyris did in the first wave.
Mhm.
And that's what Bem does in the second wave, I would argue, because I'm always bashing Tom Paris. Let me say something nice about him. I mean, that's the Captain Proton. He's going to come black and white.
Mhm.
I guarantee you quite a few people, though you could argue Nuclear Wessel's Chekhov is the most obscure in wave 4. But again, it's one of my favorite scenes in any Star Trek movie. Not the nuclear vessels line, the scene where he's being interrogated.
Mm-hmm.
Where he's like, "Oh, I'm done. Can I go now?"
Yes.
And I always feel like the way everybody always comments on how Ensign Kim never got promoted, I always feel like Chekhov always gets forgotten. So,
Sure, right.
So I just really, and he also had a great arc in Wrath of Khan, like really, really powerful, even though major continuity problem with that, I'm sure you know.
Mhm.
I love that he kept his mouth shut, so he didn't get kicked off the movie. But yeah, so that's why that's my opinion. Though other people may disagree with me.
Well, we did get to see some in the trailer for Starfleet Academy. I guess Harry Kim is an admiral based on the wall, and of course Chekhov became president in
Yep.
in Picard, right? So, and
Yep.
I guess anything can happen. So we've got wave 1 pre-orders now, wave 2 and 3. Now I know that you've talked a little bit about wave 4. What other items in wave 4 can you talk about right now, or are there still some that are under wraps?
No. Wave 4 is complete, and I'm really bad at this. But we got Cisco. We got yeah. There you go. So we got Cisco from Pale Moonlight. We got Robin Curtis, Savick. Did you see the video Gates made?
I did.
For her figure.
I have not. Oh, I haven't seen that yet. I got to dig it up.
You know the story behind the video?
No.
So I wanted to do Chain of Command Beverly Crusher, which if you remember, she's covered head to toe basically in body armor and has a backpack. And a week or two before we announced, Gates was in the building recording VO for something we do with her. We're doing a film she's narrating. And I went into the editing bay or the VO room to basically just say hi. And I casually mentioned we're doing Chain of Command Beverly Crusher. And she goes, "Brian, can I ask you a question?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure." She goes, do you want to make money? And I'm like, yeah, I want to make money. And she goes, "Well, then you got to do Sub Rosa." And I'm like, here's the problem, Gates. Like, everyone, if they see it, they're going to think little 15-year-old Brian Volk-Weiss, horny little 15-year-old Brian Volk-Weiss wanted to see Beverly Crusher in a nightgown. And here I am making the toy. And she was like, "Trust me, nobody wants Chain of Command Beverly Crusher." Like, because I just wanted to make a Crusher.
Right.
And she goes, so long story short, I said to her, I go, "Here's the deal. I'll do it, of course, if Paramount approves. But you need to make a video, and you need to the community needs to know you're on board."
Okay.
And at 6:05 a.m., before our 11 a.m. panel, sitting there drinking a cup of coffee in my hotel room, reading God knows what, and I got the video. If you haven't seen the video, and it seems like you haven't, it's quite the video.
It's good.
All right.
The video.
I'm going to check it out as soon as we're done tonight. That sounds great. Yeah. And my apologies. I forgot that wave 4 was announced. I think I was thinking wave 5, but I said wave 4. So apologies for that. Because there's been so many. I mean, you've been churning out the announcements of what's coming out, which is great.
And, well, do you know why we're doing that?
Why is that?
I assume to drum up a lot of interest, and we are.
That's sort of, I guess, technically true, but that's not the inspiration for doing it. Because remember, I told you it's really weird that we're doing this, and even weirder that Paramount went along with it. But the reason why we're doing it is when we first announced the line, one of the most, if not the most common complaints that we got on social media and to the emails that went to us was, I'm I'm not going to buy your Star Trek toys and then it's just going to get canceled after 1 or 2 waves.
Oh,
And on top of that, holy shit, did you choose some ridiculous character? So I realized very early and this was the word I would not shut up about for the first 6 months. We had to be robust. We had to communicate to the community over and over and over again. We're going big. We're going big. We're going big. My goal is to get to 1,000 characters. Is that going to happen? Probably not. But hopefully we get to at least 300-400. But my goal, that's why every figure is numbered. Every figure has a number because I want everyone to see the goal, regardless of if we get there or not, is to get to 1,000. So that's why we've announced so many waves. And not to be an asshole, but behind this laptop, I am looking at wave 5 and wave 6.
Thanks.
So,
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah,
sorry.
a-hole.
I deserve that.
That's awesome. No, it's great.
But
That's great.
yeah, and Paramount's like, go.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
You know, Brian, the Nacelle account published a great conversation you had with Melissa Longo, who's the widow of Aaron Eisenberg, to talk about, I think, the action figure that excited just about everybody at STLV this past weekend, and it's of Nog, the Favor the Bold edition. I love the sculpt on this action figure.
It's amazing.
It looks like, I mean, it's a dead ringer for Aaron.
Yeah.
I can't believe there hasn't really been an action figure of Nog. Like you said, we've had Lizard Tom Paris, but we get a character who gets probably the most complete arc in Star Trek. And that's pretty exciting. What was it like when you first told Melissa about this action figure?
Oh, I mean, first of all, the conversation I had with her was an hour long, and we had to get it up to about 4 minutes.
Yeah.
Wow.
Let's just say for both of us, maybe me more than her, a lot of tears. It was very emotional. For me, and I cut this out again to get it under 4 minutes or under 5 minutes, but no, I said it to her. I can't think of a character I liked less than Nog, probably for the first 3 seasons.
Right.
And then I would argue by the 7th season, he was one of my favorite characters. And the only other time I've ever seen that is in Game of Thrones. What's the redhead's name?
Oh crap.
Sansa?
Sansa.
Yeah.
Sansa did the same thing. Literally, I could not watch the show when she was on camera for the first season. And by the end of it was probably my second or third favorite character. And that's what Nog did for me as well. Like, he really went from being this whiny baby to becoming what he became, a great leader and a phenomenal character, one of the best in almost 60 years of Star Trek.
Yeah, for real.
Bill showed me the actual image of the Nog figure in the vendors hall when we were at our table, and I thought he was showing me a picture of Nog from the series. I mean, the detail is absolutely incredible. I mean,
that's the render, by the way, that you're showing. That's the render. That's not the figure. The figure looks even better. But and I can say this because I don't sculpt these. I have nothing to do with them.
Mm-hmm.
So I can say this devoid of ego. Yeah, they are gorgeous.
Yeah.
Does he come with a detachable leg?
He does.
That's amazing. Oh my God.
That's incredible. I was joking, but now I'm like, oh my God, that's incredible.
No, he absolutely does.
That's great.
Oh my gosh. Well, this leads me to questions about, how are you able to get these likenesses so accurate? I mean, I look at that one and I look at like the Janeway one from Year of Hell.
Coffee.
And the coffee and the pocket watch. I've seen action figures before that look nothing like the character. I've seen ones that, look like, they probably, cast a mask on one of the characters and then put it out there. But these ones look like they're kind of lifted almost right off the screen. What's the special sauce there? I mean, how is it so accurate?
Two answers. So the it's not what you know, it's who you know. We know some of the greatest designers in the business. And we hire them and we pay them well, and as they deserve to be, and they do great work. That's answer one. Answer two is I watch the episode or I watch whatever, and then I pick the accessories. Like, so Valeris, of course she comes with the boot. Anybody in my position would give her the boot. But how many would give her the potatoes with the whisk and the pot?
Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah. And I purposely did it in a way that replicated one of the stranger moments in phaser history, where it eliminates the pot, but not the potatoes and the whisk.
Right.
So I'll give you another example. I don't know if this is public yet. I'm looking at it right now. But I always loved in the Genesis cave, there are these weird roundish triangular containers.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
We gave one to Carol Marcus.
Yes.
We might give her two. I don't know.
Nice.
I just, like I said, I'm looking at it right now. But again, just talking about Carol Marcus for a second, like I think a lot of people would have chosen to do her with the jacket or without the jacket. But to me, there are scenes with so much emotion when she's wearing the jacket and not wearing the jacket. It was very important to me to give her both options. Very similar. I'm so excited about this. Have you seen what we're doing with Sulu's Monster Maroon?
Yes. Yep.
Yes.
Fantastic.
So that's what I want to do. Like, I want to do these. Can I show you some? Is this video or audio?
It's video.
It's video.
Can I show you something?
Absolutely.
Oh boy.
And this is an example of a failure. And this is from only a couple hours ago. But just to show you what this is like. So this is in China, and we're struggling to get that stupid thing to work right.
Oh, wow.
Oh my goodness.
I want it so that when you turn the knob, I want it so it shoots in, right? Like when Khan does it.
Yeah.
Right.
If you watch it, and this is like the fourth attempt.
Oh yeah.
We still can't get it right.
It's going in just a little bit.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
it needs to, So, you're talking to people that don't speak English. I don't speak Chinese. And you're showing them the clip over and over again. You're using Google Translate and all this shit. And we didn't have to do that. You know that.
Right.
But again, so much of this is done under the belief that if I want it on my shelf, probably some other people might dig it too.
Your love of the franchise comes through with just those smallest details, and I think that's what's really important. Because, like, what was it back in the day where they had some like helicopter and they just freaking slapped a Star Trek sticker on it and sold it as some like super spaceship? Like, it's like that, but then you look at the specific details that you do, and that's what makes them very, very special.
I missed a mortgage payment buying all that stuff. Yes, I'm familiar. I'm familiar with label slapping, unfortunately.
So I think we'll wrap up with a question and answer, and then I have one other thing that I want to add to it.
I'm no expert,
that is,
but it sounds like you have two questions and two answers.
He's not good at counting either.
I'm not going to count. No, actually, it's just one's a question and then one's a comment, I guess. You could say. So you must get inundated with recommendations. Oh my God, you have to do this. Oh my God, you have to do this. Okay, so it is two questions because I just thought of two and the same thing. How many do you get of that? And what is maybe one of the ones that you thought was the craziest that you don't think would happen that you can share?
That's a great question. So I don't know if I think I said this, maybe I didn't. So we've received well over 7,000 emails.
Yep.
And by the way, it's not just emails. I read every DM. I read all the comments. And I love this. I love doing it. So I feel like inundated often has a negative context. Like I don't feel inundated. I feel very lucky I get to do this. I read about 20 to 40 a night before I go to bed. It's the last thing I do almost every night.
That's cool.
And I'll tell you right now, number 1 most requested, Wayun. Number 2 most requested, Nog.
Yeah.
So it's great to be able to, and we have spreadsheets. My assistant goes through all of them, and we track every single email that comes in. Some emails we print because they're that good, and they're like 8-9 pages printed.
Oh my God.
I mean, you wouldn't believe some of the stuff we get. So it's really cool. And like I said, it's really affecting what we're doing in future waves.
Yeah.
Trying to think. I wish. So funny. I never like to know the questions ahead of time. This one I wish I did, because there have been a couple where I'm like, yeah. I think that would just be for you, sir. But off the top of my head, I can't think of them. But there have been some interesting ones. Yeah, and I tip my hat because, as you know, I'm into some pretty obscure stuff too.
Yeah, sure. Yep. Well, it wouldn't be a good topic to discuss without me throwing my pitch to you, which I have, and Bill hasn't even listened to this one yet. So I'll give you my pitch and the details. Then you can tell me if you've heard it before and what you think of it, or if I'm just an idiot for bringing it up. So I'm thinking my deep dive one is going to be Dexter Remick from Conspiracy. So the back of his head's going to have the little gill for the alien to breathe. For accessories, I'm thinking just a pad, because in the previous episode, he's taken all kinds of notes for the crew. And then a little magnet under his shoulder so that you could take one of the little aliens that crawls up his arm at the end of Conspiracy, and it can just sit on his shoulder. And the last accessory would be the rotating chair that he sits in at the end of the episode. Because instead of having a removable head for Remick, I'm thinking you want to have his torso disconnects, and you can put in another torso at his waist where it's the chest cavity with the mother alien just kind of hanging out there. That's my pitch. Thank you. All I said to Bill before the show is I'm going to pitch something and you're going to laugh your ass off. So
oh my God.
I'm from New York, so it's hard to let people down lightly, but I'm going to try. I'm going to say this as nicely as I can. You are far from the first person to suggest that.
Wow.
And B, if we do it, and I intend to, his head, can I curse?
Yeah, absolutely.
Sure.
His head will motherfucking explode. So all the shit you just said we'll do. We're going to do the hair. We're going to do everything. I don't know about the magnet, but if Paramount lets us, and they may not. Yeah. I mean, as you know, other than the racism episode in season 1, that is the most controversial moment in the history of Star Trek. By the way, you know what my favorite thing is about that episode?
What?
They never, ever talk about it again.
Yes. Yep.
They literally are like, get rid of the conspiracy, bring in the Borg.
The only time it ever comes up again is in the novels. They do a whole storyline with those aliens coming back, but you never hear about it again.
I always hoped, and I swear to you this is true, I had always hoped before All Good Things aired that they were going to make literally, even if it was just Picard turning to Riker and being like, you remember that time that guy's head blew up and there were like lizards coming out of his mouth and shit? Like, what? Like, are we okay? Like, I know it's 6 years ago, but are we cool? But so funny. with Toys That Made Us, I always say the last episode we'll ever do will be an episode called The Toys That Should Have Not Been Made. And the main topic of that episode will be LJN's Dune line from David Lynch's Dune.
Oh, wow.
This figure, I would love to be the last figure we ever make. Like figure 1,000 is conspiracy guy's head blowing up.
Absolutely, man. I will wait for that one for as long as it takes, man, because I think that would just be awesome.
Oh, God.
Your passion for this universe that we love is infectious and so apparent. And I think that's what's going to make this such one of the many reasons why this is going to make this such a hugely successful line, hopefully for you. I'm very confident will be. I hope you are too. What we've seen so far is amazing. We can't wait for them. Everybody can head over to, if I remember this correctly, Brian, it's nacellestore.com to do your pre-orders.
Yeah,
pre-order the hell out of these things, folks, because they're going to be awesome. I intend to have a whole, you have 1,000. I'm going to need more than just a wall, but I can't wait to start displaying them behind me. Thanks so much for coming back. Thanks so much for sharing some of this stuff. Do you have you may or may not have said this at STLV, but I'll ask so our viewers can see. Do you have a tentative release date for when Wave 1 is going to hit, or is that still in the works?
So what I've been telling everybody is definitely before Christmas, maybe before Halloween.
Okay.
Wow.
Excellent. So very soon.
And we're announcing Wave 2 before the end of the year, the pre-order.
Awesome. Okay. Awesome. Yeah. Sweet. So everybody head out to the nacellestore.com, do your pre-orders, get ready to have some fun with some action figures. Buy 2 sets of each so you can open one, just like Brian does.
Right.
Brian, it's so great to have you back on the show. Thanks for spending some time with us, and we wish you all the best with this endeavor. It's fantastic.
Thank you for having me back. Always fun.
Wow.
And we're back.
Wow.
What an incredible conversation. I cannot wait for those action figures. Like I said, I pre-ordered Wave 1 right after that interview, and I think you did too.
Yep. Just he's so fun to talk to. It's great when, every guest we have is always great, but his passion, he's turning what he loves. He's created a business out of it. And I hope it's as successful as it should be, because it's going to be awesome.
Yeah, agreed. And we want to say, Nacelle is not a sponsor.
Nope.
We did that interview simply just because we're nerdy and we can't wait to see these figures in our hands. I'm a huge action figure person.
Yeah.
And I've been saying for 10 years that I wish there were more of them. And these are exactly what I would want on my shelf.
Yeah, absolutely. Someone was asking how big are the action figures. I think Burley was asking. I think based on the video that Gates put out that they're 7 inches. I could be wrong. And that video is hysterical, by the way. If you haven't watched the Gates McFadden,
it's hilarious.
It's hilarious. So go check it out. But I think that's the size on them.
Well, guys, thank you very much for staying with us. I know that we ran over by about 20 minutes or so. We're going to be back next week to talk a little bit about Strange New Worlds and catch up. We'll probably do a twin spin with Shuttle to Ken Forey, and then the holodeck episode kind of back to back. And
do we still have to do episode 2, or did we do that already? I don't even remember.
That was Wedding Bell Blues. We did that.
Yeah, we did that one. Okay.
Yeah.
I couldn't remember.
You were there. I remember.
I know. Yeah, but you know what? I'm drinking an old fashioned, so whatever.
I hope you have at least one more before you hit bedtime. Everybody, have a great week. Thank you so much for joining us. We will do it again next time on Thursday Night Geeks. Until then, live long and prosper, y'all.
Good night, everybody. Thanks for joining us.
See you later.